Hello you what's face, it's Tygon here, and today I'm going to be showing you the best 4-finger claw HUD layout setup. And this is for mobile players, so yeah, it's not for tablets, just for anyone on mobile. Now, do keep in mind that I feel like this is really one of the best and it allows for the most accuracy and the most console-like feel. However, it does do better with gyroscope. So, even if you don't know how to use gyroscope, just consider trying it. And even if you're not good with it, just consider going to settings, right? And when you go to settings, there's two versions of gyroscope. You can just simply enable wall ADS. So while you're scoped down, you can use gyroscope. Now, of course, I always recommend learning the full version, but using wall ADS will give you a better feel. So essentially, this class setup will allow you to play like you were a console player, but it's built to be more ergonomic and less strain on your fingers, so it's not going to be too hard to push any buttons. And yeah, that's basically it. So the funny thing is, this I think would be technically one of the best class setups because everyone else with their class setups on tablets, there's a 90% chance, like I guess for a pro class setup, those are not even going to be viable because usually Tencent has all of their, I guess, tournaments, they're only made for phone. And the reason for that, at least I think, is it's supposed to, I guess, incite in people that, hey, all you have to do is have a phone, pick up the phone, and play the game, and you can win millions of dollars. But anyway, let's get into it. So, as you guys can see, my first button is right here. Now, this is my button for sniping, jump shotting, and drop shotting, and sometimes slide shotting. So, of course, this is I call it the ADS button because it has a scope and a bullet on it. All you do is you push down that button and it scopes in and shoots for you. Now, this is very good for trying to do multifaceted maneuvers like in console. For example, jump shotting, you would just jump and hit that button. Or drop shotting, you would just drop and hit that button. So you would hit the prone button right here and hit that button. Now, you can simply, to be able to aim at someone while doing this, you can jump right here where the jump button is and then turn you around the area where the knife is, or you can with your finger kind of move it, because with this button, as long as you don't click a certain thing, you can still move it. Now, however, I don't use that setting. I make sure all of my buttons are static, so I'm not going to be able to move my view from right here. Basically, if I were to jump shot, I would hit the jump button and then I would use gyroscope to turn and aim at my opponents. Now, you can jump and then you can use just your finger to aim at your opponents right here where the knife would be. Just you would search and look, but it always works better with gyroscope. So the next best thing, if you guys the next best thing, if you guys don't know how to use gyroscope and you don't want to use gyroscope, is, as I said before, simply if you go into settings, let's hit cancel real quick. If you go into settings, if you go to basic, there's a few options right here. So fixed virtual joystick display position, you want that. Fixed right fire button, you want that. So if you just enable fixed joystick and then you have a fixed joystick, right? That means that when you push let's go to controls. When you push this button right here, when you push that button, it can also move. So I would before just use my index finger to kind of move around and aim it a bit more on target when I'm doing jump shots. But even then, I was usually just fast enough to use my hands to move it right here. So that is a way you can do it if you don't know how to use gyroscope, but gyroscope is very good. So if you are even looking to be a pro player, I do recommend looking into this, and that is why I consider this a pro class setup. So keep that in mind. We're just going to turn that off and turn back to that. So now let's get back to the controls. So as I said before, this is a pro class setup. So the main thing we're going to be using, especially for ARs, is this scope. This is just a regular scoping button. We're going to use that button in tangent or along with this button. So one finger is going to be here and the other finger is going to be there, and this is going to allow me to shoot and hip fire. Yes, I have a video coming on hip fire, but please make sure to hip fire. It is very important, and I'll get into that later, but this allows you to hip fire freely because most people are just using that button right here, what I call the ADS button, and it's nice and all, but you can't hit fire. So if you're in a close situation and your gun can hit fire and kill people very easily, but you're scoping in, which slows you down, you're gonna have a way harder time dealing with foes. So that's just my shooting buttons. Now, switching from weapon to weapon, I have my buttons right here. Now, I have my opacity a little bit higher. I usually have everything at 0, but just for this, I have it higher, and that is simply because I'm gonna need to see how much ammo I have. So with my index finger, I just tap this right here, and I'm able to see how much ammo I have. Now, next is just the little scoreboard. I have it right under the fire button, my, I guess, secondary fire button, and that is simply because I like to be able to click and check my score. The other thing about this secondary, this is what I call it, the ADS shoot button, is it's great for sniping. So if you just want to snipe and all you have to do is push the button and you can snipe, it's easier than scoping in and then firing, so you can do that. Now, lastly, I have my joystick right here. Now, it's up from the very bottom. I don't recommend having it there, at least for my hands and the way my phone is shaped. It is better, I guess, to have your joystick smaller and kind of, I guess, floating, not at the very bottom, not at the very edge, because you need more space to move around. So have it pretty small, just so your fingers can go to the edge and back without you having to readjust, because if you do that, that's just gonna mess you up. So essentially, you should be able to move all the way to the left and right without, because the little joystick is going to be showing, you should be able to move from all the way to the left and right without hitting the wall of your phone screen and it messing you up. Now, right here, I have a run button. I used to use this before I made this new amazing class setup when I needed to do anything like call in a score streak or throw a nade, but I don't really need that anymore. But it is still very useful if you're like having trouble, because there are still a few kinks in this game. So if you really need to run, I just have that button right there and I smash it to run. But before, as I said, I would use it to call in score streaks, because most people have their score streaks button right below, where of course I'm just gonna move it. Most people have their score streak button right there. I don't have my score streak button right here, right there. I actually have it, if you guys can see. Turn up the opacity. I have it right there in the bottom right. Now, as you guys can see, with my right thumb, I'm able to click each score streak while walking, and I'm also able to just grab weapons off the floor. Now, this is good because I don't have to stop to go hit a score streak or stop to hit a weapon. I don't know how many times I get a weapon. I don't know how many times I've been killed trying to do this. So I think this is a very good setup. Now, how do you do it? You simply just make your scale really small, and then you stick it in there, and then you blow it up. And once you do that, you should get something like that. Now, I just dragged that and I put it in the corner. Now, last, let me make that a bit less visible so you guys can see this. Now, the knife, I have it pretty big. I just have it right off, so sometimes I even accidentally hit the knife when someone gets too close, and I kind of like that because I might be forgetting to switch to it, and my knife just automatically takes them out. Now, that is that. Now, as you guys can see, there's two grenade buttons right here. This one grenade button cancels grenade flow, the grenade throw, and I do absolutely love this. Make sure to have it at least in this area, and then this button up here, as you can see, there's another grenade button, and that allows you to basically throw back a grenade. So the cancel grenade throw is really good if you just have a grenade, which, as you guys can see, my grenade is up here, and you can cancel it, and then that one allows you to throw it back. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be adding tomahawks and stuff in there and here, so this is going to be definitely viable, and you're going to need it because most people don't use it, but it's still even useful with a grenade if you need to cancel a throw. So make sure to have this. I don't see that many people using it. And then lastly, of course, that button right there, the one that basically throws one back. Yeah, you can throw back grenades if you're about to die. I mean, I'd say your first reaction should be run, but if someone didn't cook it, you do have a chance to throw it back. Now, as you guys can see, I already mentioned this, but these are my maneuvering options right here. So to the very right, I have my reload button. Right here, I have my jump button, and right here, I have my slide button. So with my index finger, I'm sliding, and with my thumb, I'm jumping, and I'm reloading. Now, as you guys can see, essentially, there's a big box that's clear. I'm going to use this draw out, but from all the way right here, I have this box to work with. Now there's of course these buttons down here, but 9 times out of 10 I'm not clicking them because I'm not running over an item or I don't have my score streaks, and usually these aren't activated by you just accidentally clicking them. So I have all of this to work with. Now I actually created it like this because I would snipe primarily. I don't know if you're new to my channel or whatever, but this season I may not be sniping. So anyway, it allows me to essentially not have anything interrupt me when I'm trying to aim, and I do love that. I call it my little canvas. So this is great because on mobile you don't have that much space to work with and you need as much space as possible, so that's why I call this my canvas or whatever. Now you can use gyroscope to give yourself more space, and this class setup was actually created without gyroscope, so even if you don't have gyroscope you can still use this reasonably. It's not gonna be bad or anything. I haven't even started using gyroscope back again because I want my aim to be perfect with the current class setup I have. Not the class setup, but sensitivity I have. So I made this without gyroscope in mind, but when you use gyroscope with it, it works perfectly. Now, lastly, I didn't really talk about this, but this is a grenade. With your index finger, you can tap to switch the grenade button. So as you can see, there's a little button right there. You can switch between your lethal and your tactical. And then you have your map, of course, your operator skill, and right here I can even tap with my index finger that little button to tell where people are. There's that as well. And in the corner I have my volume buttons and my speech buttons, and then I have my settings buttons. But essentially that is everything in my class setup. Of course, I'm not a class setup, but my HUD layout. So yeah, there's the little speech bubble so I can talk to people, and then there is the email button. But let's cancel right here, so because I messed up so much stuff and I don't want to. Yeah, let's make sure we discard that. But yeah, that's essentially everything I have for my controller setup. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'm just gonna go to my basic settings real quick so you can see what I have. But essentially, yeah, I have aim assist on. I have fixed virtual joystick display position and fixed right fire button. So essentially this makes sure my joystick doesn't move when I'm playing, and then the top fire button, or either none of my scoping buttons, so the ADS scoping button, which remember is a scope with the gun with the bullet, and just a regular scoping button, none of those move when I shoot, and I really do like that. So that's basically it. Now there is one problem I have with this game in terms of HUD layout and aiming, and that is that only the right side is supposed to move. So with your finger you should only be able to affect the right side. However, in this game, if you were to like take your finger off of the joystick, you can technically affect the game on the left side, which I hope they fix that. There should be an option or something, but in most games like Standoff 2 and stuff, you're able to select which side of the screen you want to be affected when you move. So the left side of the screen shouldn't move at all in terms of looking, only the right side. But yeah, that's it guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on this video. I think this is one of the best pro setups for phone, and it's the most ergonomic. However, I do have a pretty long phone. I mean, I feel like it's okay, but it's OnePlus 7 Pro, so you might not be able to fit everything on the top that I have, so keep that in mind. But yeah, peace out, Tygon out. Hope you guys enjoyed this.